The legendary Pokemon Solgaleo is going to be coming to Pokemon GO's raid battles for the very first time, and I am really excited about this because before the only way you could get Solgaleo was from evolving a Cosmog, but now we're going to be able to get this Pokemon directly from raids. I'm going to be giving you a comprehensive guide on how you could take down Solgaleo in this video. Let's get right into it. Alright y'all, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon GO video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So, today we're going to be talking about Solgaleo. This is a Pokemon that is incredibly popular within the Pokemon fandom, and for the most part, a lot of players were hoping that this Pokemon would come to raid battles one day in Pokemon GO. And it looks like that day has arrived because Solgaleo is now going to be a 5-star raid boss, and you're going to be able to get as many of these as you want. Of course, before, the only way to get Solgaleo was to evolve a Cosmog, which we got from a special research. And aside from that, there was no other way to get this Pokemon. And because it was so limited, most people got their Solgaleos and just simply used it to fuse with Necrozma. And now we're going to be able to get as many of these as we want, which means equally we're going to be able to get our 100% Solgaleos depending on how many times you raid, but also we're finally going to be able to get as many Duskmane Necrozmas as we want. And I think that is a pretty big deal because Duskmane Necrozma is one of the most powerful Pokemon you can have currently in the game. So if you have a whole bunch of Necrozmas but you do not have as many Duskmane Necrozmas, now you're going to have a whole bunch of Solgaleos, and hopefully you have enough fusion energy so that you can have a full team of 6 of Duskmane Necrozmas. That's going to make you a powerhouse when it comes to certain raids. Considering that Duskmane Necrozma is even as powerful as Mega Evolutions, and the fact that you can have more than one of them, this is a pretty big thing. And I do think that having Solgaleo in raid battles right now, there are so many different factors you do need to consider, such as having a full team of Duskmane Necrozmas. But yeah, without further ado, let's talk about how you could take down Solgaleo, because it's not necessarily a straightforward fight. You will need very specific typings, considering that Solgaleo does have a type combination that does allow it to resist a whole bunch of different Pokemon types. Solgaleo is going to be a Psychic and Steel type legendary Pokemon. It's basically like a beefed up version of Metagross, if that's the way you want to think about it. Its weaknesses are going to be Dark, Fire, Ghost, and Ground type attacks, and it's going to be resistant to Psychic, Poison, Dragon, Fairy, Flying, Grass, Normal, Rock, Steel, and Ice type attacks. Yeah, this Pokemon has a plethora of different resistances, but it does have very specific weaknesses. If you bring the best Pokemon that is Dark, Fire, Ghost, and Ground type, then you're going to be okay. Now, if you want perfect IVs for Solgaleo, you will want to encounter one with 2310 as its CP, and if it's weather boosted, it's going to be 2887. And Solgaleo is going to be weather boosted by windy weather and snowy weather. When it comes to getting perfect IVs or something really close, I will say the best rule of thumb is that if the Solgaleo you encounter is past 2300, then it is definitely a good one. If it's going to be close to 2900, then it is also going to be a good one. If it's somewhere within like the 2280 range, it's probably going to be mid, so definitely go for the ones that are 2300 and above. Now Solgaleo is going to be a little bit more difficult compared to most other raid bosses, specifically because of its stats. You will want to go with at least 5 trainers in the raid party that are at least level 30, with all of their Pokemon being at least level 30. And if you want to challenge yourself, you could trio this Pokemon as long as you and your raid mates are level 40, and just make sure you're bringing the absolute best counters and you have a lot of different advantages to your arsenal, like for example party play and different things like that. Now, if we want to go over the best counters, it's going to be pretty straightforward. You will want to go with either Mega Charizard Y or Primal Groudon, and then also Dawn Wings Necrozma. It's going to be a very powerful Pokemon with Ghost type attacks. And then there's of course Shadow Chandelure. It's one of the highest DPS Pokemon currently in the game, and you can go no wrong if you go with either Fire type or Ghost type attacks. Now in terms of budget counters, you could go with regular Chandelure as well as Exeggutor, but honestly, these Pokemon are not going to deal as much damage compared to most others. You will just want to go with your absolute best Pokemon regardless of whatever it could be. If it's Dark type, Fire type, Ghost type, or Ground type, as long as it could deal a good amount of DPS, you will be good to go up against Solgaleo. Like I said, just imagine that this is a beefed up version of Metagross, and just bring whatever Pokemon you would bring up against Metagross. That's probably the best way you could approach this raid. So yeah, it's a very straightforward fight in the case that if you have a whole bunch of dark types, fire types, ground types, and ghost types, you're going to be good to go. Basically, you will want to go with the best of those typings. If you have a whole bunch of really good dark types, but you're lacking in fire types, ghost types, and ground types, then go with the dark types. It may not necessarily be the absolute best counters, but you're still going to deal enough damage to take it down. Of course, if you have any of the best counters, you should obviously go with those, but you really want to make sure you're mixing and matching with the right Mega Evolution with the right Pokemon, and definitely communicate with the raid mates that you're raiding with, because if a whole bunch of players are bringing ground types, you will obviously want to go with Primal Groudon to boost all of them up. If they're going with fire types, go with Mega Charizard Y. And if you have a whole bunch of ghost types, then find a Mega Evolution that will work with that. Mega Banette is a really great option, but I really do think it's just all about just bringing the best of any of these typings. You don't necessarily have to coordinate too much, it's just really a DPS race with the best Pokemon of those types. And obviously you want to avoid bringing Pokemon of other types because Solgaleo does have a whole bunch of different resistances. Sometimes players will say, yeah, maybe dealing some neutral damage with, let's say, like a Mega Rayquaza will be enough, but unfortunately, Solgaleo does resist flying type and dragon type damage, so bringing a Mega Rayquaza would be a huge mistake. So just focus in on these typings and you will be totally okay, and that's probably the biggest suggestion I can give. Of course, there's other things that you could do to make the raid a lot easier. There is party play, which will give you party power. This is basically kind of like a cheat code when it comes to raids. A lot of raid bosses that you cannot duo, you can now duo with party power. That's just how powerful that very specific mechanic can be. So don't ignore stuff like that. If you have the best friendship with levels with one of your friends that you're raiding with, that is obviously going to help you out. If you have any best buddy Pokemon that are extremely high level, that's also going to help you. You really want to just give yourself as many advantages as you possibly can. If it's If it's foggy outside, then bring your dark types and ghost types because they're going to be weather boosted. If it's sunny outside, bring your ground types. Those are a lot of the things that you will want to consider. That's how you're going to make these raid bosses much easier. And when it comes to Solgaleo, it is going to be a little bit harder than other legendary raid bosses simply because it does have some pretty high stats. So I will say that just give yourself as many advantages as possible. That's going to allow you to take this boss down with the least number of trainers as possible or in the fastest time possible, and that's going to allow you to do even more raids. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I think it's really exciting that Solgaleo is now in raid battles. It's definitely going to open up a lot of things for most Pokemon Go players. And just in general, I think it's one of the coolest Pokemon that Pokemon has ever released. It's definitely a really good one. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I really do think I'm going to go all out with these raids because I personally have always wanted a full team of Duskmane Necrozmas. I think that's going to be really cool. And then of course later on when we get Lunala, I'm going to be able to get a full team of Dawnwings Necrozma. And overall, I think this is just a really cool time. Yeah, it's really cool that these bosses are coming to Pokemon Go. Originally, it was very limited. I'm really glad that Niantic and probably Scopely are bringing these Pokemon to raids. It's definitely a great decision, and I think it's going to be beneficial for pretty much every single Pokemon Go player. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Was there a particular strategy or tip that I completely missed that you feel like needs to be mentioned? And what are your thoughts on Solgaleo coming to raid battles? Definitely share all those thoughts and tips and different things like that in the comments down below. And yeah, let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you ended up enjoying it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the best way you could do that is, of course, joining my Patreon. And if you decide to become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to give you the benefit of adding you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then the way you could do that is by becoming a Patreon member. So go and check out the link in the description below and definitely check it out. And if you want to support my channel in a different way, you could do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and you will have access to some exclusive content and you'll be able to keep up with my daily life. And that will be a huge help to my channel. And one last thing, I actually opened up an Etsy store. If you want to get yourself something really cool that's K-pop themed or anime themed or something that's a combination of the two, then definitely go and check out my Etsy store. I'll put a link to it in the description below. It's going to be something that I'm going to be continuously working on. I'm going to be adding new products every single day. And yeah, it's something that I'm really passionate about. So if you want to support me and my channel and all the things that I do, definitely go and check out my Etsy store. Maybe you'll find something really cool for yourself or for the K-pop fan in your life, whoever that may be. So yeah, and with that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you all later.